Look, fellas, if you're over 40 and you've been masturbating every day, there's something happening inside your body that nobody warned you about. And most men don't notice it until the damage is already creeping in. I'm talking about subtle changes that show up as weaker erections, slower recovery, more nighttime bathroom trips, and that quiet drop in confidence you can't quite explain. Here's the uncomfortable part. What you think is harmless stress relief might be training your body in the wrong direction. And if you don't understand this now, you could spend the next decade trying to fix symptoms without ever touching the real problem. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Rosalia Viterbo, and I specialize in men's health, particularly helping men over 40 regain their hormones, energy, sexual performance, and long-term confidence. I've worked with thousands of men who were told, "This is just aging," or "You're fine, your labs are normal," even though they felt anything but fine. My job is to look deeper at hormones, lifestyle, habits, and the silent changes that happen in the male body as we age. I'm not here to scare you, judge you, or shame you. I'm here to give you the straight truth in plain English so you can make smarter decisions about your health and stay in control of your body for decades to come. Here's what I'm going to walk you through today. First, I'll explain what actually happens to your prostate as you age and why daily masturbation affects it differently at 25 than it does at 45 or 55. Then we'll break down the real changes I see in men who do this every day. Things like inflammation, pressure, hormone signaling, and even how it can impact erections and urinary function. I'll also clear up some big myths floating around online that keep men confused and stuck. And make sure you stay with me until the end, because I'm going to share what most doctors never explain: how to support your prostate the right way without giving up your sex life or feeling broken. Before we get into the specifics, you need to understand why this topic even matters, especially if you're over 40. Most men never think about their prostate until something goes wrong. Trouble peeing, weak stream, getting up multiple times at night, erections that feel less reliable, or that dull pressure feeling in the pelvis that's hard to describe but impossible to ignore. And by the time those symptoms show up, changes have already been happening quietly for years. Think of your prostate like a traffic control center sitting right below your bladder. It wraps around your urethra, the tube you pee through, and it plays a major role in ejaculation. When you're younger, the prostate is flexible, well-drained, and responsive. Hormones are balanced, blood flow is strong, inflammation is low, and recovery is fast. Your body bounces back easily. But as men age, a few things start shifting. Testosterone slowly declines. Estrogen activity increases relative to testosterone. Inflammation creeps up. Blood flow isn't as efficient, and the prostate becomes more sensitive to stress, pressure, and repetitive stimulation. This is where habits that seemed harmless earlier in life can start having a different impact. Here's what most men get wrong. They hear that ejaculation is good for the prostate, so they assume more is always better. Daily must be healthier than occasional. Right. Not exactly. Biology doesn't work in extremes. Just like overtraining at the gym can break down muscle instead of building it, overstimulation of prostate tissue, especially without proper recovery, can lead to congestion, irritation, and swelling over time. Another issue is modern life. Men today are sitting more, moving less, sleeping worse, and dealing with more stress than ever. All of that affects pelvic circulation and hormone signaling. When you layer daily ejaculation on top of poor blood flow, tight pelvic muscles, and low-grade inflammation, the prostate doesn't always respond the way men expect it to. And here's the sneaky part. This doesn't show up overnight. It creeps in slowly. A little weaker stream here, a little less sensation there, maybe longer recovery times. Men chalk it up to age or stress and move on. But the body is always giving feedback. You just have to know how to read it. So this conversation isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding how your body changes after 40, why the prostate becomes more sensitive, and how daily habits interact with aging physiology. Once you understand that, you can make smarter choices that protect your performance, your comfort, and your long-term health without giving up pleasure or feeling like something's wrong with you. First, prostate congestion and pressure buildup. Here's the deal. The prostate isn't just a passive gland. It fills, drains, and recovers. When ejaculation happens too frequently without enough recovery time, especially after 40, the prostate can stay in a semi-congested state. Think of it like traffic that never fully clears. Blood and fluid come in, but drainage isn't as efficient as it used to be. What most men think is, if I'm ejaculating, I'm emptying the prostate. But in reality, frequent stimulation can keep the tissue irritated and swollen. That's when guys start noticing pelvic heaviness, discomfort when sitting, or a subtle ache they can't explain. Why this matters more after 40 is simple. Circulation and lymphatic drainage slow down with age. The fix isn't stopping sexual activity. It's spacing things out, improving pelvic blood flow, moving more, and supporting inflammation control so the prostate can actually recover between sessions. Second, increased inflammation inside the gland. Daily masturbation can increase local inflammation in men who already have hormonal shifts, stress, or poor sleep, which is most men over 40. Inflammation isn't always painful. Sometimes it's silent, but it still affects how the prostate behaves. Most guys assume inflammation only comes from infections. Not true. Repetitive stimulation without recovery, combined with stress hormones like cortisol, can keep the prostate in a low-grade inflamed state. That inflammation can narrow the urethra slightly, which explains weaker urine flow or hesitation starting. What actually works here isn't antibiotics or ignoring it. It's reducing systemic inflammation. Better sleep, omega-3 fats, resistance training, managing stress, and not overstimulating the system daily. Your prostate thrives on balance, not extremes. Third, hormone signaling gets disrupted. This is a big one most men never hear about. Ejaculation triggers dopamine, prolactin, and oxytocin shifts. When this happens daily, especially without strong testosterone levels, prolactin can stay elevated longer than it should. What most men think is that ejaculation boosts testosterone. The truth is, frequent ejaculation doesn't raise testosterone long-term, and in some men it actually blunts sexual drive and motivation over time. After 40, testosterone is already trending downward. If hormone signaling gets out of sync, men notice lower libido, weaker erections, and longer recovery times. The solution isn't abstinence, it's supporting testosterone naturally, lifting heavy, sleeping deeply, and not relying on daily stimulation as your main dopamine source. Fourth, pelvic floor tightness and nerve irritation. Look, masturbation isn't just hormonal, it's muscular. Repeated contractions of the pelvic floor without relaxation can cause tightness over time. Tight muscles compress nerves and blood vessels. Men often think pelvic floor problems only affect women. Wrong. I see men with urinary urgency, delayed ejaculation, or numbness because the pelvic floor is locked up like a clenched fist. Daily masturbation can reinforce that tension pattern. What actually helps is mobility, deep breathing, walking, stretching, and sometimes pelvic floor relaxation, not just Kegels. A relaxed pelvic floor equals better erections and better prostate health. Fifth, diminished sensitivity and sexual satisfaction. This one hits home for a lot of guys. Over time, daily stimulation, especially if it's fast, habitual, or paired with porn, can reduce sensitivity and arousal during real intimacy. Most men think the issue is their partner or age. In reality, the nervous system adapts to overstimulation. Dopamine receptors downshift. Erections may still happen, but the satisfaction isn't the same. After 40, nerve regeneration is slower. Resetting sensitivity means slowing things down, changing patterns, reducing frequency, and reconnecting arousal with real-world intimacy. Quality beats quantity here, every time. Sixth, early urinary changes. Men ignore this as the quiet warning sign. Men who masturbate daily and have underlying prostate inflammation often start noticing subtle urinary changes. Dribbling, urgency, weaker stream, or waking up at night. They think, that's just aging. No, it's feedback. The prostate surrounds the urethra. When it's irritated or swollen, urinary function changes first. What works is listening early, adjusting habits, improving hydration, reducing bladder irritants, supporting prostate nutrients, and addressing inflammation before symptoms escalate. Early awareness saves you years of frustration later. A 52-year-old guy came to see me. Let's call him Mark. Married, 2 kids, solid career, not overweight, not sedentary, but definitely stressed. He worked long hours, slept about 5 to 6 hours a night, drank coffee all day, and worked out when he could. Sex life was okay, but not great. Erections were less reliable, recovery took longer, and he was waking up once or twice a night to pee. Nothing extreme, just enough to be annoying. During our conversation, he casually mentioned that he masturbated pretty much every day. Not compulsively, not out of distress, just habit. It was his way to unwind. He had always heard it was healthy, so he never questioned it. When I looked deeper, a few things stood out. His testosterone was on the low normal side. Cortisol was elevated. Inflammatory markers were creeping up. And based on symptoms, his prostate was clearly irritated, not infected, just chronically stressed. I didn't tell him to stop masturbating. That's important. What I did recommend was spacing ejaculation out, focusing more on quality sleep, strength training 3 times a week, adding daily walking, and supporting his prostate with anti-inflammatory nutrition and targeted supplements. We also worked on pelvic floor relaxation and stress reduction. Within about 8 weeks, his nighttime urination stopped. His urinary stream improved. Erections were stronger and more consistent. Most importantly, he told me sex felt better again. More sensation, more connection, less pressure. The lesson here is simple. The problem wasn't masturbation itself. It was daily stimulation layered on top of aging hormones, stress, and poor recovery. Once we restored balance, his prostate settled down and his performance came back. That's what I want you to understand. You don't have to give things up. You just have to work with your body instead of against it. Myth number 1. The more you ejaculate, the healthier your prostate. This idea came from studies showing that regular ejaculation may lower certain prostate cancer risks. Somewhere along the way, that turned into more is always better. That's not how biology works. Those studies were not saying daily ejaculation is ideal for every man, especially over 40. They didn't account for stress, hormone levels, inflammation, or recovery. Too much stimulation without recovery can irritate prostate tissue, not protect it. The truth is, moderation and recovery are what keep the prostate healthy, not extremes. Myth number 2, if it feels good, it can't be harmful. This one gets a lot of guys in trouble. Pleasure and health aren't always the same thing. Sugar feels good. Alcohol feels good. Staying up late feels good. But over time, those things can stress the system. Daily masturbation can feel relaxing in the moment, but if it's your primary stress outlet, dopamine source, or sleep aid, it can quietly dysregulate hormones and pelvic function. The truth is, your body needs variety in how it relaxes and recovers. Myth number 3. Prostate problems only come from aging or bad genetics. Aging plays a role, sure, but habits matter more than most men realize. I've seen men in their early 40s with significant prostate symptoms and men in their 60s with none. The difference is inflammation, movement, hormone balance, and how they treat their bodies daily. Believing it's all genetic makes men passive. The truth is, you have far more control than you've been told. Here's what nobody tells you. Not your buddies, not the internet, not most doctors. Your prostate responds to patterns, not single events. It's not about what you do once. It's about what you repeat. When you understand that, you stop chasing quick fixes and start building habits that actually protect your health long term. First, daily masturbation after 40 can lead to prostate congestion if the gland doesn't get enough recovery time. Second, repetitive stimulation can increase low-grade inflammation, even without infection, which affects urinary flow and comfort. Third, frequent ejaculation can disrupt hormone signaling, especially when testosterone is already declining, leading to lower libido and slower recovery. Fourth, daily contraction of the pelvic floor can create tightness and nerve irritation, which impacts erections and sensation. Fifth, overstimulation can dull sensitivity and reduce real sexual satisfaction over time. And finally, early urinary changes, like weak stream or nighttime urination, are often warning signs men ignore instead of addressing early. The big takeaway is this: it's not about quitting sex or pleasure, it's about balance, recovery, and supporting your body the way it needs after 40. When you do that, your prostate, hormones, and performance all work better together. If this video helped you connect some dots, do me a favor, hit the like button so this information reaches more men who need it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, because every week I break down men's health topics most guys are never taught, especially after 40. I also want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you noticed changes in your urinary flow, erections, or recovery time as you've gotten older? Just yes or no is fine. That conversation matters more than you think. And if you're serious about protecting your prostate, hormones, and sexual performance long-term, I've put a free men's health guide in the description below. No fluff, just clear steps you can start using right away. Check the description, grab it, and start taking control of your health today. If you found this helpful, make sure you take the next step. Hit the like button so this reaches more men who need to hear it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. I talk about hormones, prostate health, energy, and sexual performance every single week. I also want you involved. Drop a comment below and tell me this: have you noticed changes in your erections, recovery time, or urinary flow since hitting your 40s? A simple yes or no is enough, and I read every comment. And if you want to go deeper, I've put a free men's health guide in the description. It walks you through how to support your prostate, optimize hormones, and feel more like yourself again naturally. Grab it, review it, and start applying it today. I want you to remember this: you're not broken and you're not failing your body. What you're experiencing is your body asking for better support and smarter habits as you move into a new stage of life. You still have control and you still have time to turn things around.